Hello, this is Mrs. Simmons at Northeast Magnet High School. Today I want to talk about Canva, how you can access it, what account you should use, and then some of the really neat tools that exist within Canva. So, first, to get to it, you should just log into the portal, so portal.usd259.net, or also known as Rapid Identity. And then when you scroll down a little bit to the C's, you should find Canva. So, if you just click on that, it will open up and log you in through your USD259 account. So once you're logged in, it will look very similar to this. You will see this purple um, kind of bar here that says, what will you design? You'll see create a design up here, some options to the left, to the top. I want to talk about first this purple bar. So what will you design? There are options for presentations, social media, video, print products, marketing, the office. If you click more, you've got infographics and graphs and book covers and a Zoom virtual background, websites. I mean, just so many options exist within Canva itself. So the first thing I want to tell you is because there are so many options, you have to be really careful about what you're choosing. So first, always think about what your teacher wants of you. If your teacher is wanting a presentation, you're probably going to want to go to presentation section. If your teacher is asking for an infographic, you should probably go to the infographic option. Okay. But if your teacher is giving you a lot of freedom and flexibility in how you actually present your information, just think about what you have to do in your presentation and then really think through what you might want to show. Is it a print product? Do you want to do a poster or something like that? So you have options here that you can click, but if you hover over templates, you'll also find some really neat options that are a little more detailed. So if we go to business, you'll see presentations, websites, things like that. If you go to marketing, that's where you'll see posters, flyers, infographics, brochures, newsletters, proposals, for example. So you might find some more helpful things here. If you go to features, you'll also kind of see some different things that you could play with. So if you're interested in working on icons or print products, that's all there for you. And there is this learn option, but which will kind of give you probably more detailed information than this video will. This video is meant to be very short and just a really quick overview. So I'm going to go ahead and say that I'm working on an infographic. So I'm going to click here. And then to the left, you'll see all of these options come up, and they are sorted into different types. So maybe you're doing a process. Maybe you're doing something about education. Maybe you're doing business or timeline, informational infographic, comparisons, whatever it is that you're doing, you can browse through and find all kinds of options. And I can tell you when I was looking at some of these, there were like almost 500 options in the infographic templates. So you have a ton of options. So I'm just going to go ahead and choose one here. Doesn't really matter which one. I'll click this one here. Fiction versus nonfiction. So once I'm actually into the infographic, the first thing I'm going to suggest you do is title it. So here I'm going to do test infographic. Now you should name it whatever it is your project is called or something like that. Also, this is really small. It's hard for me to see. So down here at the bottom, I can zoom in a little bit so it's easier for me to read and see what's going on my infographic. Okay. Now you'll also see all these little boxes that kind of highlight when I hover over them. And when I click on one, that is where I can actually modify what is happening. So I can choose my font. There's all kinds of fonts that you can choose from. I can deal with the size here. Now these are preset because it's a template. I can change the color. I can bold or italicize. I'm not here. I can make it centered or left or right aligned. So that's always an option. I can do bullets. I can do spacing and play with my spacing a little bit. I have effects here where I can change the way the font looks. I have this ellipses, so then I can do underlining. I can do uppercase or lowercase. I can animate it. I can change the position. I mean, you guys, I have so many options. So many options. And then if I just double click, then I can change it however I want. Okay. And I can change the text because remember, this is just a template. You're probably going to change almost everything on the template. Okay. So this is just the template itself. But what if you want to add things? Okay. On the left-hand side, I just want to point out a few options here. First, you'll see this little caret and this little bump out right here. That lets you hide. Okay. And then you can choose lots of different options on the left-hand side. And when you click one of those, it's going to bump that back out. So notice it came out again here. So I clicked this time on uploads. So if I want to use an image of some kind, I actually have to upload it. So what happens there, if I go to videos or audio here, I have to actually find the thing that I want. So notice that when it says upload media, I can upload it. I can access my Google Drive, Dropbox, Facebook, Instagram. You may not be able to access those. But uploading from your OneDrive or Google Drive is always an option. Now, what that means is when you go to find an image, you probably actually need to download the image and then upload it here if you're going to use something different. Okay, so just keep that in mind when you're creating these things. I also can go to photos. So this is kind of a neat thing about Canva is that I can search a photo that I might want. So maybe because this is fiction and nonfiction, I can just search book and see what comes up. And then, oh, I like this one with the sparkly lights. I can click on it and it's automatically going to put it in. And then I can start kind of editing, what I want there. So notice when I hovered over that one, really kind of neat thing, it set it as the background, which is kind of cool. Now, if I don't like that, I always have the undo button up here. I just didn't actually like that there. I'm going to get rid of that. Okay. So that's pretty cool. I also just want to point out really quickly that you can change the colors pretty easily. So this was that default blue teal, but you can pretty easily change the colors to be another palette or a palette of your choosing. Also, pretty neat thing there. So I have lots of options when it just comes to images that are already there for you, but you certainly could upload something if you would like. When it comes to elements, these are also things that you can add in. So maybe I want to put a circle around some text. I can pretty easily choose that. There's some really kind of funny stickers here, designs. If I go down, there's foliage. So if you're a houseplant fan like me, you can find those things. So just some really, really cool things here. And again, let's say I'm looking for something very particular. I search book. Let's see what comes up. Oh, I like some of these drawings, and maybe I like them better than the photos. Okay. So again, new options for you. Maybe I don't want this light bulb and this magnifying glass, but I want something else. Okay. I can find those elements. Additionally, you can add things in. So you can add in a heading, a subheading, some body text, which means that's just a little smaller. So you have those options, but you also have these really neat options with fonts and colors and things like that. So maybe I really like this one here and I click on it. Now I can move this around, okay? So I can click on it and move it. Maybe I want to delete some things that were already there and I just want to use this thing. I can double click in and change that right there. I can edit this. I can make it bigger. I can make it smaller. Some pretty cool stuff that you can do with it. Now, of course, I don't want that, so I'm going to go ahead and click on it. Ugh, there we go. And I'm going to delete that because I don't want that. Or I can always click the undo, but that's a lot of really neat options here for you. Okay. If for some reason you need to do audio, that's always an option for you. There's also videos, so you could add something in if you'd like. Maybe you want a nature thing in the background or something. Then you can click on back and you have lots of options here as well. Again, all sorted into different options. So landscapes or patterns or gradients or abstracts or nature. I mean, it just kind of has tons of options. And then, of course, you can search. Up at the top, you just have some colors you can choose from. If you'd like to do some logos, that's always an option. Notice that these automatically came up with USD 259 options, which is pretty cool. There's a lot of people within the district who are using Canva for information and to share information with families. Then there's this folders. You don't have folders right now, but let's say you have 4 classes that use Canva. You can create a folder for your English class, one for your art class, one for your math class, your science class, and then you can save all your documents within those folders just to keep them really organized. There's also this more option down at the bottom where you can add things in if you need to. So there's styles, there's charts. You can add in a YouTube video. It just it feels like the options are endless. You have a lot of options. Okay. Now, let's say I have finished this. Okay. I've finished my presentation. I've spent the time on it. I've ensured that I'm meeting my teacher's expectations. How do I get it to them? You have a few options. You do have this share option where you could share it with an email or you can get a link. I would suggest that you change this to just view, just so people can't accidentally edit it when they don't need to. There's also this download option. You can download it as just an image. You can download it as a JPEG, a PDF. If you're doing a video for some reason, you can do that. So you have some options here in how you actually create that. You can do transparent backgrounds. You can, modify the size, the compression file, save the download settings, and then download it. So however you wanted that downloaded, you download it. I usually do these as PDFs, but you might find an image works better for you. That's kind of up to you. Under these ellipses, you also have some other options. So they could be shared in that way, as in, Google Classroom, Microsoft Teams. That may not work on the student end. That might just be a teacher option. Remember, I'm looking at this from a teacher option. But there's some really neat options. I do not recommend that you do anything where it says print on that ellipses because this costs money. Don't waste money. Don't do that. Okay. So just download it or share it here, and then just make sure that you change that to view. Okay. Once you're finished too, it saves automatically. You'll notice right here, just like Google, it says all changes saved. So I can just click home and that's going to take me back to my dashboard. And then you'll see my recent designs. These are the things that I've worked on. So I can really quickly just click back into this and then I can edit if I needed to really quickly, which is nice. So you have a ton of options within Canva. I hope this was a helpful tutorial. Good luck with all of your amazing designs that you will create. And I hope that you feel a little more confident in how to use Canva.